That's it now. Hello, everyone. This is Kieran Kyo, the Kyoster, here with Don Afolabi. Yeah.
Oh, good man, you can nice. So you did.
Here, so I'm here for YouTube, my YouTube channel CKTV, and for Celtic Radio. You'll be listening to this hopefully on Monday night next week. Now this has been filmed on a Thursday, so we're going to have a bit of talk about Dawn's mediumship and her work over the years and how she got into it and everything. So Dawn, can you tell me how this came about?
Oh goodness, Karen, that's a story. I suppose I've always been tuned in. Okay, even as a child, I was very conscious and very aware of angels and people that had passed into the spirit world. It's something that I've always been very comfortable with, which probably made it very easy in some ways for it to evolve, if that makes sense. Now, how it actually did evolve in the later years would be through the passing of my third son, Ben, in 2003. And it kind of brought me into a very different place in my life.
Okay, yeah. Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, it was a very tough time now. It's not to take away from the experience of having to grieve and do all the natural process that comes with grieving. But at the same time, it did bless me. And through blessing me, it's helped me work with thousands of people all over the world in so many different ways. And mediumship for me is really about connecting to home.
Okay.
To the place that we've come from, to the place that I believe that we truly belong, and the place that I believe we go back to after we leave this world. Okay. So Ben's passing not only brought a gift into my life, but it also helped me grow as a person, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Even though I went into a really deep, dark place at times with it, I needed to go there in order to feel what it's like to experience bereavement and loss as a medium.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we can't practice something that we don't know or we haven't experienced. How can we have, for me, how can we have true empathy with people if we haven't been there ourselves?
That's true.
So Ben was a significant part of my life. I mean, I've been involved in holistic since I was very young. My life seemed to just gravitate that way naturally. It was never something that I sought, it came to me.
Wow, yeah.
So I feel very grateful and very humbled by that at times.
And you're saying like from you were very young, does it make a big difference to someone's childhood, this kind of thing?
It can do. I mean, it depends, I suppose, on the dynamic that the child is in, the family environment, whether it's nurtured or whether it's dismissed. For me, it was a bit of both.
Right, okay.
It was my childhood was a very confusing time for me, having lots of psychic impressions and being able to see the spirit world. But at the same time, it was almost like, I know this might sound really crazy and a bit daft, but when they used to show up to me as a child, it was almost like it was another human being, so I couldn't differentiate between the two.
Okay, right.
And the physical and what it was spiritual, like it was all the one to me.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I see where you're coming from, and it's bound to be very, in the initial stages, bound to be very weird for you.
It was, but again, I mean, they were my friends. So it was also very comforting having other people to play with.
Yeah.
I would never sat alone. When I was playing as a child, there was always someone with me. And I sometimes I was a very quiet child. I've got quite loud and boisterous over the years. But, you need to in this line of work. So for me, it was very much about, and it still now is connecting with my friends.
Yeah.
And bringing their messages and their love through. It's just now I have the awareness. And I suppose my first experience of being able to differentiate between living and deceased was when my grandfather passed away.
Okay.
And my grandfather passed away when I was about 12 years of age. And I remember travelling all the way from my hometown of Castlebar, Mayo, to Limerick to be at his funeral. It was the first real funeral apart from my other grandmother, on my father's side that had passed. But I had more of a connection with him. Right. I spent more time with him growing up. So it was very unusual for me when I was standing across from his grave, and I felt no emotion, which was very odd,
Yeah.
And I could see him physically standing across from me in full body presence as I'm looking at you right now, and I'm smiling and he's waving over at me.
Wow.
Like that. And it was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And it was then I realised that, there's something seriously odd about me, and I felt, I suppose, scared. and felt almost detached. If that makes any sense. I was, as a young person, trying to process this awareness and having no one to talk about it with. It was quite
Mm.
challenging, but my
I
faith
can
is
only
on.
imagine it would be a
Yeah,
very strange process and tough for yourself, like.
it was, but at the same time, then I always knew that he was with me.
Mm.
When I was going through stuff as a teenager, as you do, and bullied in school and all sorts of different things, my granddad was always there. So that in itself was a comfort, and it was my secret.
Okay.
It was only a little bit later when my mum kind of got involved in holistics, as I said, when I was about 17, 18, and it became a more open conversation in our home.
Okay. Yeah.
You understand? And it was then that it was more acceptable for me to talk about the weird ideas or the premonitions that I would
Mm.
have, or the visits, and it was normal for them to say, "Oh, Granddad's here today. Oh, great."
Mm.
It became part of our home life.
Right.
Then at that point, which was good.
Bound to be a big help when that came into play, like whenever you had that extra bit of comfort of chatting to people about it. No?
Yeah, it was. It was, and then as the years went on, I trained in Reiki at the age of 18. I was a master by the time I was 20. I'm now 40 and loving life.
That's good.
And so it got easier, but I think having the foundation and the healing skills that I've had behind me has really helped me grow as a medium and as a person.
Mm.
And so it brings us to the place that we're sitting in today, which is the Serenity Sanctuary in Letterkenny.
Right. Yep. It's a lovely place you have here as well.
Yeah, it's very, very tranquil.
Mm.
Do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's been a lifetime of watching and working towards this moment where I could have this space to be able to give back to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
You, as you got older, has it affected your personal life a lot, or has it, as a medium, have
I
you
don't think
found
there's
it?
any medium that would tell you that it
Yeah.
hasn't affected their personal life. Oh yes, I mean, there's nothing I don't know about my husband.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like you have moments where they just can't hide.
Mm.
It's a good skill to have in some respects. It keeps me,
Yeah.
keeps him keeps him on his toes, doesn't it?
That's true.
But
Do you find, you have done a lot of online mediumship in the past?
yeah,
You've explored that whole side of things compared to you do a lot of one-to-one now on a more personal level, don't you?
yes, I went through phases with my career where I was very much into the one-to-ones, and that's what Spirit wanted me to learn. And then there was a time that I worked a lot online, not so much with mediumship, because I'm also a life coach. I mix a lot of different skills into a session with the person, so you don't really have to come to me just for mediumship.
Mm.
If you've got stuff going on in your personal life, I do what's called soul coaching.
Ah, right.
So we are power up your passions, as I call them. So we work at what's Spirit showing me about you that you need to know, or that we need to work through to get you to a point of being kind of motivated and content in your life.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's lots of different elements to the work that I do, but I am more focused now on my mediumship. I took time off from it.
Yeah.
Because it was very intense at times. Mediums need to take a break, I believe, just to be in the physical world and to enjoy everyday life.
When we talked before, you had been saying that, a lot of it had drained you a lot over the years, and it had made you, this kind of work, when you are intensified at this kind of work, it tends to, take a lot out of you.
It doesn't so much now. It did in the past when I had my
Right.
L plates on.
Okay. Yeah.
But bear in mind, I'm taught by Spirit. I've had no real formal training outside of here, apart from once I went as far as the Orthophily College in England.
Okay.
So when you're trained by Spirit, you're learning on the job. I know a lot of other mediums out there are trained by Spirit, so they'll be able to relate with this if they happen to watch. But it can take over your life at times because you're learning all the time.
Okay.
Spirit takes from every part of your life to draw it into that 1 hour that you have, or whatever time slot you have with your clients. So you're constantly juggling things. And you really do need to be in a good space, I believe, mentally, right, physically, emotionally, in your own life to be able to support it. So I took the time out. Yeah.
And I'd imagine if you're helping other people and you're talking to other people regularly, it's very good to have a positive outlook and mind in life.
Yeah.
and it's bound to have an effect on everything.
Yeah, it does. Like as I said, like I've been through a lot of grief and bereavement in my own life, so I had to come to a place of peace within myself to be able to fulfill my purpose as a medium, which is good to be able to say that I'm in that space now and back on track and back on tour,
That's great. And
which is good.
I was just going to ask you about your turnabout a lot. So tell me a bit about how about you were saying you were very ill recently. You were feeling a lot. You were down. I was saying to you that you were. I was saying that I felt very reclusive for a long time there before I had my surgery last year, earlier in the year, and you were saying you had a similar kind of, but you had a lot of
Health
health. Yeah.
experiences, but the emotions were the same, Kieran. It's just similar kind of symptoms and the impact that it had on my life as well. I mean, it sounds like you went into a bit of, the hole. It's hard to get out of the hole.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah,
It's you feel that the world's against you and there's no end to it, and
why me and
yeah,
what's it all
a
about?
lot of
And
self pity and self
why
doubt as
bother?
well. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been through that a lot in my life,
Mm.
an awful lot. I mean, it probably got worse for me. What year was it? Well, my health issues actually started the year after my first son passed away.
Okay.
I started developing seizures.
God, that's
and they were very
serious,
debilitating. And I developed blackouts. So I would be literally having a conversation with you, Kieran, and I would be unconscious 2 seconds later.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So that was really, really tough, and I had little ones to mind, and I was on my own.
Yeah.
So those went on for several years. Now, I had gone through a lot of different tests, and the doctors came back and they couldn't absolutely find anything wrong with me. Now, there is the thing with mediums that we have a lot of health issues.
Okay, yeah.
For some odd reason, okay? It's quite well known. And but I strived through it and I pushed through it, and I was younger. I could try and push through it, but it had an impact on my anxiety levels.
Okay.
Because I never knew when this was going to happen. I could have 3 or 4 of them in a day.
Yeah.
And so it was quite a tough journey for a while there. And then after I left Mobile, I developed a problem with my throat.
Okay.
Well, I had problems with my throat for quite a while. Even the time I met you, I was very sick.
I remember that.
Yeah, and it was to do with the tonsils. Eventually, I went private and got them taken out and did all that I had to do. And I thought, yes, Christmas 2012. I was crippled, but I actually had an amazing time because my spirit team kept me very entertained in the 2 or 3 weeks that I was down, because I was hallucinating all over the place.
Right, okay, yeah.
So it was like they came closer and closer and closer to me. And I know it sounds really odd, but it was very trippy. It was class. Yeah. I'd do it all again without the pain. But so I thought, right, I'm coming out of this. I'm going to be a new woman, going to get my career back on track. And I signed myself up to a web design course.
All right.
Actually down here in Letterkenny. And I thought, yes, ka-ching.
Yeah.
I was off, I was driving, I had met the love of my life, and things were going really well. So I thought, about 3 or 4 weeks into my course, my arms started swelling up, and they thought I had arthritis.
Gee.
Okay, so I was on medications for that. And eventually it turned out that it wasn't arthritis, it was fibromyalgia, because I was having excruciating pain. So I had a car crash.
Oh.
Then I lost another child.
That's tough.
And the following year I lost another one.
Gee.
And so I went into the hole and I crawled in there quite graciously. I just and I sat there like a flipping idiot.
But not, it was
hard.
This stuff must have impacted you big time, because like obviously if you've all them losses and you have the health problems, it's natural to fall into a hole,
That's it, but I had to go through that. I know that now, and I even knew it when I was in it, that I needed to do this to be able to come out the other side. It's like, for want of better words, it's like a new dawn.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I went into the hole. I stayed there, as you know what that's like. I didn't do an awful lot apart from eat and sleep and watch movies.
Yeah, well, that mirrors what I went through as well, and it's amazing to be able to connect with someone that has that experience as well, because you really do. A lot of people that I talk to in the world of the internet, would think, oh, they can't totally identify with it, but
Mhm.
with the likes of yourself
I
there,
hear you.
we both can hear each other in a way that,
Yeah, but it's needed because we don't talk about it.
no,
Well, I mean, we're getting better,
yeah,
you
as
know.
people we
But
can't,
I mean, even for my husband, like it was very easy for him to, what do you need? But at the time, I didn't even know what I needed.
mm,
A lot of the time, I just needed peace and quiet.
aye,
It was like all the trauma had become so much.
yeah,
But you know what that's like yourself, having been there. I mean, grief brings up a lot of things for people. It changes people.
it does.
Sometimes not for the better, but in the long term, it
Mm.
can do as well.
Well, I do believe that time's a healer.
Yeah.
I do think that over time, the death of my brother and the grief that came along with that, and the shock originally, and then eventually the grief, I think it shaped my future in some aspects in a good way.
Mm. But it strips you bare as
It
well.
does,
It
absolutely.
makes it almost raw,
Mm,
and it's like they always say it's the wrong after you've lost someone, it's the worst time to start making decisions.
mhm,
Oh, I made every decision you could possibly make, and it
mm,
unraveled my life, if that makes any sense. So
right,
in some ways I was my own worst enemy at
right,
times.
okay, yeah.
But I had to learn to recognize that and push myself through that. I also had to learn to forgive myself.
Mm.
Do
And
you
I
know?
think that's
Yeah,
comes into play with my experiences as well.
yeah.
I've had to learn to kind of, maybe like over time forgive myself for life in general, for
Mm.
we're not angels at the end of the day,
Oh,
like,
jeez,
and
no, I know.
it tests you, like, and I suppose you have to try and, like, personally I try and be positive and try and put out a positive image and try and be positive within,
Mm-hmm.
and keep the faith in everything. I try my best. In today's world, it's not easy, but you have to try. And
I think life is worth trying for. There was a time
absolutely,
when I
yeah.
didn't think that.
Mm,
And I know that many people will understand that, but I think you come to a point when you know, like for example, I OD'd.
right.
The way I see it, God didn't fucking want me, so I have to stay here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
clearly is something else that I have to do before
Uh,
they'll accept me on the other side.
yeah.
And that's just being brutally honest, but
Yeah.
that's the way I grew and
Like,
that's
see,
the way I
that's
learned.
the thing too. Like, about when I met you before, I had just gotten over an experience where I nearly died, and I had the sleep apnea, and it went beyond, and I nearly died that time in
Wow.
2011.
Yeah.
And then I felt that God kept me on board for some reason. Then recently I had the surgery, and to be honest, because of my size and everything at the time, I thought, well, touch and go here whether I'm going to get through this or not. And my surgeon was telling me that it's going to be, a lot of people of your size might die from this, but it's worth it if we get through it. And I got through it, and I believe then that
You're here.
maybe there's reasons for these things. You know what I mean?
You're here.
Yeah.
But not everybody makes it, and it's not to be
Mm,
flippant of those that do go into the spirit world through their own choice, because there's many, unfortunately, that don't stay.
yeah.
And so I always like to give thanks and respect for the fact that I am here,
Yeah.
and I'm choosing to be here,
Mhm.
and the ones that didn't get to stay, because
Aye.
that's tough too.
Mm.
Yeah. In this line of work as a medium, you meet lots of different types of people that have gone through lots of different types of grief and are still going through it, and it is tough. I get emotional. I'm what they call an emotional medium, because I feel things really deeply, which is why my life has been very challenging.
Okay.
I had to learn to come to terms with my emotions so I could be able to be comfortable with other people's emotions, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So in sessions at times I do have a wee cry. The tissues are out.
Mm.
They're not all airy fairy. They're very real experiences for people, and I take my work very seriously. And the fact that someone shows up in my space, I'm, no matter what they're going through, it's actually very humbling to be part of that.
I think that's what any skeptics out there that might be watching this, I think that's what they like to hear as well, that it's not all bed of roses, if you know what I mean.
No, it's not.
There's a lot of hard stuff out there too in this world.
You see, I don't believe that we're here just to give evidence. I believe we're here to support as mediums. You understand?
Yeah.
So like someone I often used to get in the past, and I don't entertain it now. Oh, go on, give me a message. all this
Mm.
kind of stuff. Go and read for me. What can you do? Prove to me that you're a
Aye.
medium. I won't do that, because at the end of the day, it's a disrespect to the work and to the
Aye.
spirit people that I work with, because they're not a part of these.
Mhm.
They were real human beings, and they still are, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like to treat people with respect.
Mhm.
I'm very old school. I'm Catholic raised. Please and thank you, open the door, polite the seat.
I
That's
would
me.
tend to be the same myself. Yeah.
So I believe, everybody deserves that courtesy, even in the spirit world. So I'm not here to perform. I'm here just to share.
Yeah.
And you see a lot, unfortunately, mediumship out there can be very tarnished and stuff like that, and it becomes almost like a stage performance.
But I think it's
I don't
because
want the
of
work to be like that.
I think the world sees it publicized on TV and publicized in media, and they think that's the way it is. But for a normal medium like yourself who does it privately,
The
and
average medium, it's very grounded. I don't watch TV mediums. I've very rarely done that. The only show I would have an interest in, I would have to say, is the rescue mediums, which is very good because it serves a purpose, and also psychic detective mediumship.
All right,
I have quite a strong interest in that. I'm training as a psychic detective at the moment,
and
I
great.
hope that spirit will bring me on that path in time. But it's just not yet. I've lots to learn.
I mentioned to you earlier, would you be ever interested in doing the whole TV thing? And you were saying not so much.
No, I have no drive for that. Right, if it happens, because it emerges that way, and that's what spirit wants for me, so be it. But at the moment, no, I'm quite content just meeting people like yourself, Kieran, at this level, and we do the bit that we need to do.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, and
even
that's
if they
very
came in, I would
positive.
probably say no. I wouldn't feel ready for that. And I think my spirit team will know when I'm ready for that. Yeah.
Well, I think that I know you. I like to think that I would know you fairly well at this stage, and I think that a lot of people's ideas of mediums and that kind of thing is, they're just it's just a money racket. All this with all these stupid opinions that they don't even look into it. They just make these kind of. But I think it's for yourself. It's probably I see a lot of genuine kind of from you. I personally. I'm good at reading people, and I think there's a lot of genuine things about you, and I just don't see why you would do it for the so-called money racket. I think it's a very good.
I am happily broke. If I could do my work from time to time for free, everybody that knows me, I would do that. But
because there's such a rewarding thing.
Bloody hotels are expensive, so I've always put the intention out there. If you've got a hotel and you can fund it, and you can sponsor my trip, I will happily come for free and do it for charity. I have no bother with that.
Yeah.
So there's a challenge.
It's a good positive way of looking at it. Yeah.
It is, yeah. But I'm not in it for the money, Kieran, because at the end of the day, God provides for me in many other ways. I have mostly everything I need in my life except a car.
Yeah.
So when they manifest a car for me, I'll be a very happy Irish woman. And it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. So
yeah.
So that's it. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm very grateful about life these days. A lot of gratitude here, and
I can relate.
I have a lot of love for the world and people around me these days. I don't have any grudges or any hatred towards people, which I think is very good for me, because in the past I've had that idea that the world's against me. I couldn't stand but have to talk to people sometimes. Stuff like that,
Sorry for laughing. I hear you, brother. No, I do hear you.
Yeah, and that I know people dip in and out of these things in life, and I'm not going to say it's never going to happen again to me, that I'm going to be negative, but I would like to think that now that I've turned the corner, that things are going to be more positive in the years to come.
That's it, and it is about how we handle it, I believe. If we live our lives in a state of reaction, then we're going to struggle.
Yeah.
But if we live our lives in a state of peace and serenity, that no matter what's been chucked at us, we find our way through it.
Right.
We will find our way through it. You've got through a lot. No more than myself.
Yeah.
And I always say God is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And
God is good.
It's important to have that kind of, belief system in you too, because
I think it helps.
A lot of people out there that don't have it, and you feel that they're missing out on something,
Well, you feel sometimes isolated. I mean, bear in mind, I haven't just grown up with spirits. I've grown up with angels around me,
Mm.
you know, and I feel them in my life every day. I see their
Is there a big
miracles
difference
every
in the
day.
two things?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, angels are pure light. They're pure love. It's
Mm.
unconditional.
Okay.
So it's no matter, they know me better than I know myself. It's
Mm.
myself at times, you understand? And it's
Okay.
like they're my comfort.
Mm.
You know, I'm very blessed that I can see them. I'm very blessed that I can hear them. I'm very blessed that they guide me in a way that when
Mm.
I wasn't listening, it was tough. Now that I'm listening more, life is easier.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not just listening to them though. I don't give control or power to anything else because at the end of the day, it's about me and my choices.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
know, and I wouldn't, if my angels told me to go off to Barbados tomorrow and do something crazy, I'd probably say, do you know what? No. do you know what I mean? I don't think everything's good.
I was just going to ask you about your turn about a lot these days, and you're
Mhm.
finding it, you know, I'm sure you find that even more motivating.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I have to say, I would give it all up to go on tour. I would. I do. I love meeting people. I love the buzz. I love the energy that comes behind having a group of awesome people together in one room and their loved ones.
Right.
It's a feeling you just couldn't describe, Kieran. You know,
Yeah.
it's very humbling
I would imagine
to be
so.
part of that journey. And
Very rewarding too, I would imagine.
yeah, my work has really evolved as well. I mean, an evening with me now in spirit is more than just what I thought it was ever going to be. When I started out years ago, I did a lot of work in platform work and loved it. But over the years, spirit kept calling me to work in trance.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've ever heard of that.
I haven't, no.
Trance is it's a state that a medium can go into to be able to receive spirit at a much deeper level. Okay, so it's like I almost go into a hypnosis state, but you know, I'm really, really deep down in, and then the spirit then is able to come forward and communicate directly through me.
Right.
So they use my voice, they use my body, they use my energy, and it's very gentle. It doesn't, you know, doesn't hurt in any way whatsoever. It can be quite fun.
Right.
And we've had some very, very powerful sessions and connections through trance. So an evening on tour with me is like half the first night of the evening is your typical platform mediumship, which is standing up, giving out messages and hopefully making some good connections. And then the second half then would be based on trance. And that's something to watch.
Yeah.
It's apparently it's quite rare that this spirit chooses a medium to be able to work through this way.
Right.
Yeah, there's not an awful lot you can say about trance because I'm not conscious through it.
Okay.
Sometimes I hear fragments because I go into a deeper space in my mind, and I can hear fragments of the conversation coming through. But I've trained myself enough to be able to come up. Some spirits are not able to make the connection. So you know how mediums are learning.
Yeah.
Spirits are also learning how to communicate.
Right.
It doesn't come natural to them.
Yeah.
It takes time. So that's why sometimes you have spirits that come through really strong because they've got a bit of experience.
Right.
You know, and other spirits are a little bit slower to make a connection. You know.
Right. As far as the connection with the whole, you know, religion aspect of things and everything, is there any, if you like, overlay there with, or is it just like an independent kind of thing, the whole mediumship idea?
I think mediumship is an independent thing. I believe that we're all one, okay? And I believe that we all come from the one source, all right? Now, I'm not asking anybody else to believe that. There are...
it's fascinating to hear everybody's take on these things, you know, I find, you know.
Yeah, there's the spiritual union in the UK and around the world that they have what is an identified religion. Now, I'm not part of that, however, I do kind of relate to some of it. You understand? I like to keep neutral, but I also have faith. I don't think as mediums we can really... There are mediums out there that don't have any religious attachment whatsoever, but for me, my life is based on faith.
Okay, yeah.
And it's in a knowing that, well, faith in the spirit world, faith in the people that I meet, faith in myself and the work that I do, and also faith in a higher power.
Yeah.
I've seen too much, in my opinion, to be able to say that there isn't something above us guiding us, whether that's angels, God, or whatever word or terminology you want to put on it, you know.
I would tend to agree that there has to be a higher power out there, and it's, you know, it's just a matter of connecting with it in your
Yeah.
own way. Yeah.
It's feeling that higher power to me is love as well.
Mm.
You know, I mean, the spirit world, they come in a loving vibration. If I'm stressed out and tense, it's going to be really hard for them to communicate with me. But
Yeah.
if I'm in a place of peace and calm and serenity, then it makes their job that much more easier, you know?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the, not going into any detail, but a lot of the religions tend to oppose this kind of thing, but it's all food for thought. It's all kind of
Mm.
stuff out there. Like I personally think it's a great thing, that you can help families and help people communicate and stuff. I think that's a wonderful thing because it's all about helping people at the end of the day. And
It is. I
you
mean,
know,
when you have, like, I mean, someone that comes in, Kieran, and they're in absolute throes of grief, and it's a horrendous place to be, and you're able to bring, I suppose, validation and comfort in a way that allows them just to walk a little bit lighter.
yeah,
That's my job done, you know. And for the religious aspect, I mean, I couldn't do what I do without God. That's just my personal opinion with it. Like the night that my son passed away, and I've had 6 more losses since, by the way, and it's
God Almighty,
it's been a tough
that's bound
journey
to be
for.
tough.
But we got through it, and again, I wouldn't have got it through without my faith. The night that my first son Ben passed, and I was just talking about this conversation with somebody this week. I'm in the middle of writing my book, so this is part of it as well.
Very good, yeah.
I went into the chapel in the wee hours of the morning with my dad, and we sat quietly, and I think, if I remember correctly, it was the 2nd row in. There was nobody else in there in the hospital, you see. And I was very distraught, and in my mind I was letting rip at the God that I had grown up with. Okay? I was really fuming with him, and why are you doing this to me? What the hell is this all about, you know? And I could feel the presence of my grandmother. My second grandmother had gone into spirit with me, because I knew her energy from the past. Now, I wasn't an active medium, but I always knew when somebody was with me.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And in fact, I've never heard of the word medium before. Okay, so she's there, and I could hear her chatting away to me in my head and telling me she had my son Ben with her, and that he was okay. But there was something else that I needed to do, and I couldn't do it with him in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. It would hold me back. And so I felt amazing sense of peace and comfort come over me. But at the same time, I looked to the altar, the small altar that was in the chapel, and I could see a statue of Mother Mary holding baby Jesus, you see. And at that moment in time, as a mum, I connected to her experience of loss.
Right. Yeah.
You get me? And I feel that that was what that experience was about for me, is that I couldn't go forward in my life as a medium without having that awareness or that connection. And I couldn't continue to do what I was doing because I was in a self-sabotage mode in my life.
Okay.
And Ben came in to shift me out of that.
Do you feel, when you feel energies from spirits, does each spirit have different energies?
Oh, yes.
Or how do you identify these things? Or,
I've just got someone connect with us right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got that, did you?
No.
I'm clairsentient, okay?
Right.
So that means I really feel them when they're around me, and I know that there's a certain feeling that I get. It's almost like a light up inside.
Okay. Yeah.
And I get the shivers all around me and the goosebumps, you see. And so there's a feeling that you get for a male, there's a feeling you get when it's a female. I don't always clairvoyantly see them, but I do feel them, and I hear them chatting away to me.
Right.
Okay, so there's a unique, special moment that you get when you know that you've got a genuine connection with somebody.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of things about, the idea of, good spirits and bad spirits, the whole idea that is very much portrayed in movies and stuff. Can you maybe bring a lot of that stuff to light just for the interview?
No, I don't know about that one. All I know, Kieran, is that, like, as we were chatting before, like attracts like. If you're in a dark space within yourself, it's quite possible you could attract somebody that had gone into spirit that was in a dark place themselves.
Yeah.
You understand? I believe that there's far more scarier things in this world than in the next life.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Now, I have encountered at times people that might be hostile in spirit. but it's not often, thank God.
Okay, well
Yeah,
that's positive. Yeah.
I wouldn't be scared of the work that I do because I come from a place of, I suppose, light and love, blah blah blah, and all the
Mm.
airy fairy stuff that goes with this work. But then I believe in human beings.
Mm.
Do you know, even if I met a scary person in this life,
Yeah.
I would still meet them where they're at.
Okay.
Because we're all human beings having an experience, so I
Mm.
treat spirit the exact same way. So even if somebody showed up that was probably not being so pleasant, you want a cup of tea? Do you know
But they physically couldn't have a cup of tea if they're spirit.
What's going on? Do you want to have a wee chat?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way I approach things.
Okay,
And it keeps it light.
Well, that's positive.
Humour is good in this work as well. You need a sense of humour.
You often hear that from undertakers as well, don't you? That, you know, I know it's a bit grim to talk about that, but you often hear, you know, they need to be. A lot of them are very upbeat and humorous because of their work. They need to be. You
need to be in certain careers that you're in, you know. And for me, yeah, it is a career, but it is my way of life. I mean, I've devoted all of my life to this and the rest of my life to the work that I do. And whatever way it shows up, whether it's through mediumship or just meeting somebody that needs a moment.
Yeah.
We do that because we're in service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel that you're more that you're more at comfort with the afterlife and stuff whenever you know that you're doing this work? Would you ever worry about the afterlife, or would you feel kind of?
No, I can't wait to get there.
Right.
I'm always saying I want to be cremated and put into a teapot because I love tea. So you'll know if I come back, I'll be shaking my teapot. That's the golden rule, you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm not one bit scared. I think there was times in my life when I was very sick and in really low places that I was concerned that if I went into the spirit world that my children wouldn't be provided for. That would be my concern, which is a human
it's a natural concern. Yeah.
But no, I'm excited to go to spirit because I know that my gran is going to be there, and do you know what? All the people that I've worked with over the years, I get to party out with them.
Well, like I personally have went through grief myself with the loss of my brother years ago, and I also, you know, I would have very much went through a lot of questions, you know, as far as what happens afterwards and everything. And a few years back, I was attending counsellors and stuff because of this, and I found that eventually I got over that, and I was helped by yourself too at the time in a past life when we met up, remember, a few years ago. But
and I wasn't sane.
but but you know, in life, I think everybody goes through these experiences. But I found that now these days I have a lot of gratitude because of my surgery I had a while back, but I feel at the moment I'm feeling very happy with life, and I think that really probably, as you would agree yourself, affects people and their spirit around them and stuff as well.
Yeah. So have you felt your brother around you?
I often would say I really believe he's with me and stuff, but you know, a lot of the time you say it for the sake of saying it. You don't know for sure, but you know, I think I would have a lot of try my best to be faithful, try my best to have good faith in life, and try and be positive. But you're not always that sure either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
I do know, and I don't know. I believe in faith, so for me, it's easy to believe, but I know it's not easy for other people to believe, and I respect that.
And in today's society as well, as we talked off camera about that, about just I feel that life is these days, the younger generation, like I'm 30, and the people in my age group and younger are very much against the idea of, you know, the spirit world and everything, maybe, or against the idea of heaven and God. Maybe it's all too rosy for them, you know, and you wonder, like, is the world coming to a very atheist kind of way of looking at things? And for me personally, that would be a shame, because I think it's important to keep the faith, as Bon Jovi says, you know.
I agree. Bon Jovi's a great man, so we have to keep the faith. That's a tough one, Karen, to be honest with you, because in my line of work, I meet all sorts. I've met young ones that are very nervous of this work, you understand? And I think young ones nowadays have, not all, of course, that facing so much with their mental health and the challenges that they're meeting on a daily basis. There's so much pressure on them, but I think they're developing a faith in a different way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, because I do have young ones that come in here and they're so open and so receptive. You understand? Right, they may not fundamentally believe in the church or the religion, but there's something else growing.
Okay.
So maybe it's just that it's evolving in a different way. We may not be losing it, but it's evolving in a different way. And I believe that it starts with us as parents, you know, that we have a duty and responsibility, because we're so busy taking care of their physical and their schooling and their education, all of that. Sometimes we forget about their spiritual growth as well. And I think spiritual growth in every person, whatever way, or self-development, whatever you wanted to call it,
there is
important.
A lot of
mindfulness is a good one now.
Aye. There is a lot of people out there that would say, even younger ones as well, as I suppose, they would say that they're spiritual, but they're not very religious. So that's okay.
I would say I'm spiritual, but I'm not very religious.
Right. Yeah.
To be honest with you, that's the category I would put myself. I would call myself universal. You know, I think there's great points and great aspects in all religions.
Okay.
That's my personal belief. You know, I was married years ago to a Muslim.
Right.
You know, so I've had a lot of different life experience in relation. I think my soul needed that to allow me to grow, you know. But I still, I mean, I don't go to church. I don't need to. But there's times when I feel, I'd love to go and light a candle.
Yeah.
I will go and do that. I just honor myself in the moment, if that makes sense. For me, even singing is going to church. Yeah. Which I know is the same.
we both have that in common as well. We both do like performing and singing, and you're a very good singer yourself, Dawn.
I like to sing. We give it a good go.
Do you like to incorporate the two together sometimes?
I do. I think music is so important on an evening with spirit, because, well, one, your loved ones, most of them probably loved a good lash of a song. Do you know what I mean? And I use it also as a tool to make connections. So sometimes I may throw out into the audience, go and tell me a song that reminds you of your loved one, without telling me anything else. They'll give me the name of the song, and because of that song, we can bring the link in. You know, and so we play around with the energy a little bit, but music is very therapeutic. Okay, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I like to call music the medication for all emotion. Oh, I love that one. I'm stealing that one. That's a good one. I agree. I like that idea. Yeah, it's you know, it really does. It evokes a lot of different emotions. You know, it does. So we're gonna do some singing today. Aye, okay, that's cool with me. Yeah, bring it on. I think spirits recruit me at the moment. They have a good way of getting people to do what they want them to do at times. Do you want to hear a story about my last journey in Moville? Because we're both from Moville. Yeah. Well, I lived up there for a while. Right. That's where we met. A lot of my listeners and people watching this that are from Moville and Greencastle will probably know Dawn well, actually. The bad one. That lived over the shop for a wee while. No. Well, tell us your story there. Well, just not long before I left Moville, you know, I had the wee shop up there for a wee while. Okay. And I closed it down, and I was walking down the beach one day. Do you know in Greencastle, the one beside the golf course? Ah, yeah, lovely with Sweet Nellies. Yes. I was in there with the kids one day walking, and this beautiful dog, golden retriever, comes bouncing in, right? There's nobody else on the beach, and he's rambling all over the place. And he comes up and he's checking us out, as dogs do. And these two wee lassies come in as well, not long after him, and he followed them up the beach. But they went off, and he stayed. Okay. So as in my head, it says, you are definitely lost. There's something lost about you. Do you want to come with me? Because I talk away and asking Alan, do you want to come with me? He says, no, I'm not coming with you. I says, well, on your way, be happy. So I went home with the kids, and that evening I was sat at my computer, and I kept hearing the name. I have a really strong connection to Michael Jackson growing up. Okay, love his music, and I do too. Yeah. We'll go no more on that story. That's a whole different story. But he had a pet by the name of Bubbles, a monkey. That's right. Yeah. I kept hearing Bubbles, Bubbles, Bubbles for the next couple of days. Wow. Right, and my screensaver on my computer automatically changed to Bubbles without me setting it. All right, something's going on. It was very strange. So I dropped the kids off. It was all this happened within a week of each other. I dropped the kids off to school one morning and headed up to one of the petrol stations. I was stood at the cash register about to pay, and I looked over and I could see the notice board, and there was a big picture of a golden retriever. Wow. Right? That's strange. I was curious, right? I was curious. I walked over to it, and on the top of it written missing. And the dog's name was Bubbles. Wow. Right? This is how spirit works with me sometimes. You couldn't believe it. You couldn't write it, eh? You couldn't write the next bit. So I, well, that's so cool, right? But I was curious because obviously the missing title, and I said that really does look like the dog that was up that beach that day, right? So I went out to my car and I sat into it. As I sat into it, there was a wee woman in the back, but she's not physical. She's from the spirit realm,
Ah,
okay? And she kept going to me, don't go back in and get the number. Don't go back in and get the number. And it kept going on. I was putting the keys in the engine. She's like, no, don't go back in and get the number, right?
wow,
I'm
yeah.
saying, no. And I said, come on, I'm off duty. Leave me alone. I don't want to work, right? And so I obeyed. I went in. There was 2 numbers, both of them English.
Mhm.
And I took the first number that was closest to me because I hadn't an awful lot to write on. Okay.
Yeah.
Went home. Wee woman's with me in the back. Ring that number, please. I really want to talk to my son.
Yeah.
Okay. So I go home, pick up the house phone, ring the number. Woman answers. Hi, I'm ringing you about your wee dog. I'm wondering, did you find him?
Mm.
Okay. Now they had found the dog. Okay.
Wow.
But where did they find him? He was sat outside my shop in Moville.
That's crazy.
He was roaming in and out between the farm shop and my old shop, and eventually plunked himself outside. Okay, now you know what the work I used to do there, working with spirit and stuff.
That's right.
Like that. Yeah. So we had a good natter with myself and the lady, and it turned out that she was I'd rung her husband's phone, and the wee woman was his mum who'd just passed away recently.
Wow.
Described her to a T. And that's how amazing spirit is.
That's.
It sounds far-fetched, but it's very true.
You know, it's I don't doubt any of this stuff. I have to say, I wouldn't be someone who would run to mediums all the time or anything online or anything. I'm not into that, but I do believe that there's something out there, and I do think it's all fascinating. Just want to put that out there.
You're okay. And you know what? I am the biggest skeptic.
But that is a very good story.
I think when spirit is moving us to the point where they're driving us and kind of molding our lives in a way that we're on a mission.
Yeah.
We have a purpose. It's a good thing.
Aye.
So yeah, that's me.
Well, that's a fascinating story, and I think that it's been it's been great to see you again, meet you again, and meet up and have a chat. And it's great to have you on here on Celtic Radio and on YouTube, CKTV. And thanks a million, Dawn, for coming and letting us chat to you and put your message out there. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Or?
No, I think we're all talked out, but I think we should do this again, shouldn't we, Karen?
Definitely. I'd be up for meeting up and doing a video now and again.
Definitely. It would be good because it's nice to reconnect.
Yeah, definitely.
So if anybody is interested in finding out a little bit more about my work and what I'm up to and the adventures myself and my team are up to, please head over to Afolabi.com. As Kieran said, I'm on tour at the moment, and my main events at the moment are Derry, Castlebar, Letterkenny, Dundalk, and wherever spirits takes us after that.
Brilliant. You were saying you do a bit of ghost busting and castles and stuff too, Dawn?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's my besides singing, it's my next passion. No, I love history. I love history more so than even the ghost part of it. I love the history. I love old buildings. I love old energy. So yeah, that's what motivates that work.
That sounds great, and thanks a million, Dawn. Great to see you, and all the best for the rest of your work and future ventures.
No bother, dear.
Thanks, Dawn. All the best.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.